guys, today we're gonna film another video and we're gonna be making my friends' favorite desserts and dropping them off at their houses for National Friendship Day. So let's get into this video. So for the first recipe, we're gonna be making a Long John custard filled donut. This is my friend Mia's favorite dessert. I was a little surprised when she said this because it looks a little complicated, but I think I found the right recipe to make this a little more simple. So first we're gonna start off with Okay, now that our dough has risen for 2 hours, I already floured my surface and this is what it looks like. I'm just gonna pop it out of the bowl. It is a little bit sticky, that's why I'm gonna be putting it on floured surface. I think this is gonna make about like 6 or 7 eclairs. I didn't mean eclairs. I meant donuts. Don't know why I said eclairs. But the dough looks really good actually. I'm just gonna give it a quick little knead so I can get everything incorporated, make sure everything's well. And now we're going to cut it into the pieces. Now I'm gonna just take a large knife and we're gonna cut this into about 6 equal pieces. I'm sure if you let this dough rise for a little bit longer, you could probably get probably another Long John out of it, but I am kind of on a time crunch, so I can't really do that. It looks like this only cut into 5 pieces actually. I'm sure, don't know why. It's probably just because I should have let it rise a little bit longer, but it'll still taste good. I'm sure I'm just gonna have a little bit smaller Long Johns, and then I'm just gonna put some flour back on these with my floured surface. And we're gonna shape these into rectangular shapes. So I'll shape them and then I'll show you what that guys looks like. I'll show you guys what that looks like and how to do it. So we're gonna roll it around a little bit. So we're gonna do what we did with the bagels and we're gonna put it on a flat surface, go like this. And we're gonna just roll it a little bit. And we're gonna put it into like a kind of like a rectangular shape. This is what it looks like. It's very simple, it's not that complicated, but make sure you have flour on it because this dough gets really sticky. And some of them, while you're putting them in flour, it literally just shapes out to the shape that you want it to be. So that's good. So I'm just gonna shape these 5 donuts. Before we fry these, we're going to let them rise for another 30 minutes to get a little bit bigger. And it's just gonna let them set and make sure they're perfectly ready for frying. So we're just gonna leave these for 30 more minutes and then we can fry them. Okay, so now that all of our dough has risen for 30 minutes, when I was having this dough rise, I realized that they were getting really big, so I cut some of them in half and they got to a nice good size. So now that all of these are done, I'm gonna go preheat the oil to 400 degrees and then we can fry them. Okay, so right now I'm gonna fry the first one. You honestly just have to drop them in, fry them like any usual thing you'd fry. But if you really don't know how to fry things, I suggest looking up a YouTube video on how to do that. This is not really the purpose of this video, to teach you how to fry something. But if you really don't know how to, I definitely look up a video on frying. But I'm just gonna fry these up and I'll show you what they look like after. So I did want to show you guys like kind of what they look like during the frying process. You really have to rely on like flipping them over, making sure how brown they're getting, because if not, these are what my first ones look like. They look great. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of show you guys what they're gonna look like when you're frying them. Okay, now that our eclairs have dried, I'm gonna make a quick 5-minute pudding. It's just Brandello. I found it at the grocery store. And I'm gonna use banana cream to give it a little different flavor. So I just have to add this mix to the milk and I'll go get the spoon. Actually, I'm gonna use a fork because it's better at whisking. But we're just gonna mix this together. It smells really good. Make sure we give it a nice good whisk, and then I have to whisk this for about 2 minutes. So while our pudding is setting, I'm gonna make a kind of glazed frosting to put on the top. So I'm just gonna take some store-bought vanilla icing, and we're gonna open that up. And we're just gonna take probably like a spoonful is enough to cover most of these. Probably like 2 spoonfuls. We're gonna add these to the bowl. Now we're gonna take some vanilla creamer and we're just gonna add like a splash to it. And we're gonna mix that around to kind of like give it more of a glaze texture instead of like frosting. And you're just gonna wanna mix that until it's all incorporated and it's not like clumpy. And then you have your glaze. And I'll show you guys how to frost and fill these right after our pudding's done. Now that our donuts have cooled and our pudding has set, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna take any ordinary straw and you're gonna push it through the donut so we'll have room for the filling. And we're gonna do that with all of our donuts. Just give it push through. We're gonna put our pudding into any piping bag. I just have a round tip on it. I wouldn't really recommend any other tips. This one's probably the best. But I'm just gonna fill this piping bag with the pudding. Okay, now we're gonna take our piping bag and the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna squeeze the top. Make sure you have a good pressure control on it. And you're going to take one of the eclairs, you're gonna push the piping bag in and you're just gonna squeeze. And that's how you fill along. Now that all of our donuts are filled, we're just gonna take a pan like this. I just used a pie pan and I spread out my glaze on it so I could dip my donuts easier. So you're just gonna take your donut, drop it in the glaze, smooth it around, and there it is. There is your homemade Long John donut. Okay, so I made it to Mia's house. I'm about to knock on the door with her donuts.
Hey, so it's Mia from home. I'm kind of wet because I just took a shower after a swim, but we got Peter's donuts. They literally, they look like really good, and I was expecting them to be amazing, but this is like really cool. Like they actually look like they feel like real donuts, which is like, I don't know. We tried to make donuts once, they did not feel like real donuts, so I'm gonna try it. Oh my gosh, this is really good. Whatever you use for glaze, this is amazing. It's actually like airy like a real donut. Wait, what? Peter, you are amazing. I got some of that custard. The custard tastes really good. Peter, you're like a miracle worker. I could never. You did an amazing. They even look like really real. Oh my gosh, Peter. I can't even. You did such a good job. Props to Peter. The icing is really, really good. Thank you, Peter. Happy Best Friends Day, bestie. Oh.
So for the next recipe, Alexia wanted a chocolate chip cake. So I just whipped up my favorite cake recipe, and I'll link that recipe down below, but it is not my recipe, so I decided to just link the video down below. But I'm going to add 1 bag of milk chocolate and peanut butter flavored chocolate chips to it. Well, actually like about half a bag, and then I'm gonna add some normal semi-sweet chocolate chips. So, I also have another special ingredient that I'm gonna add to this to make the cake a little bit more moist. So we're just gonna mix in these chocolate chips. Alexia loves chocolate, so I wasn't surprised that she suggested this. But now that we've added our chocolate chips in, it should look like that. And I'm going to get the special ingredient out of the fridge, which is, surprisingly, sour cream. So, sour cream actually makes your cake very moist. And you can also, I've heard you can use mayonnaise in cakes. But I'm just gonna add like a dollop of sour cream, probably like a tablespoon or 2, to make the cake more moist. So now that I've added that, I'm gonna give the cake another good mix, and I'm gonna go preheat the oven. So I just preheated the oven to 350, and now I'm going to take my loaf pan, and I decided to do this in a loaf pan because I thought it would just be better and easier to eat, because we're not gonna add frosting on this because it wouldn't be as good. So I'm just gonna take the loaf pan, give it a nice good spray, make sure it's coated in oil so it slips right out, and then I'm going to go get a spoon to dump this out. Now that I have my spoon, I'm gonna give this one more good mix to make sure everything's incorporated, and we're just gonna empty this cake batter into the pan. If there's too much cake batter for the pan, it's fine. I would just leave the rest aside and make probably 2 loaves. But I'm just gonna make 1 loaf at a time. So, should look something like this. Do not fill it to the top because it will rise in the oven. You don't want your loaf pan being like overflowed. So, we're now just gonna stick this in the oven at 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes. Hey, so Alexia's cake is now done. I think it looks really, really good. Turned out amazing. I had to bake it for like 20 extra minutes because the inside was really, really gooey, because it obviously is a chocolate-based cake with chocolate chips in it. So I thought I'd package it up for you guys. I have these little clear bags to make it look really professional. Then I have one of these twisty ties. So I'm gonna flip this cake over real quick. And then I'm gonna take this bag and just slide it right in there. I really hope this cake fits in there, because if it doesn't, that would not be good because I don't have another bag to put it in. Oh, yes, it fits. Okay, that's good. That looks really good. Okay. Okay, now I'm just gonna twist the top of it. And guys, I'll show you a picture of this. But I can't like hold it up because it's kind of fragile and I don't want it to break. It's So we are currently on the way to Alexia's house to drop off her chocolate chip cake. And yeah, I'll see you guys when we're there. Okay, so I'm at Alexia's house. I'm gonna knock. Happy Best Friends Day.
Thank you. I'm gonna cry. Thank you.
Bye.
See you too.
Hey guys, I'm doing my segment on Peter's YouTube video of trying the cake he brought me. Okay, so this is my reaction. Oh my god. I just tasted heaven. That is some really good cake. Thank you, Peter, for dropping it off. Honestly, I could cry right now. That it's so good. One of the best cakes I've ever had in my life. So moist, so chocolatey. The perfect consistency of everything. Thank you so much, Rat, for bringing it for me. Peace out, YouTube.
So after a long day of baking, they finally got their treats. They love them so much, and I'm so happy that I was able to do this for National Friends Day. So thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Peace out!